me when I complain about how 4 and 5 black women are beasts. Half of the murders us killing in the streets. Almost half of abortions too. This a rap verse, but this is a warning too. And go against God like there's nothing more to do. But y'all don't care, y'all just really want abortions new. Wanna gang bang, do drugs, wish drugs all above. Sell drugs till you in the jail cell, not a club. Now another single mother, cause we lost another brother. Sold to an undercover, kids gotta raise each other. This what you want for the future? Or are you trying to look cool on computers? Claim you a king, but blame the white man. When something bad happens, you feel like a loser. And keep voting the same way. Why? Cause your parents did it too. Truth is your parents are ignorant too, and politicians know it, so now they got you.
We changing the culture every day of the week. Right now it's more like a vulture. Only prey on the weak, but we are here to expose ya. Going down as I speak. No excuses, can't refuse this honesty that we seek. Y'all be like, facts are racist. Why I say this? You know it's true. Y'all just hate it. Facts are racist. Why I say this? You know it's true. Y'all just hate it.
I don't think you've gone this deep, even when you're falling asleep. I don't think you've gone this.
That you always hear, just so that they'd be there. But live stream didn't see it because we're on a new computer. Hooray!
Yay! New computer! New computer! New computer!
But that being said, few things are not working properly because we just got it finally ready right before broadcast time.
What can you say? Matt's
so
a procrastinator.
That is true. That is very true.
It's also true about me, so I can't say.
Yeah.
Kettle, pot.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of things that are working 1,000% better.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
Like Greta. Greta's working much better.
Could you pay her not to come out? Because I mean,
she doesn't.
Or make her not work.
She's above payments. She's about the cause, okay? And plus I don't control her. She's just a gremlin that does as she wills. Anyway,
so she's like deep state.
Kind of, yeah.
Deep state?
Anyway, I am the mad scientist Matt. The Ivory Tower. The Philosopher King. And I have a perspective on things.
You do?
I do.
Really?
Yes.
Oh,
and
that's amazing.
That's why I'm here.
Oh,
to give that perspective to the world.
It's a good perspective.
Because I think it's the right perspective, frankly.
So, who am I?
He's Dusty.
Oh, hey, look. There
Dusty?
I am. Dustin Peterson. There I am.
Right hand of the Kings.
The producer.
And he's our whipping boy, that's right.
Yeah, that's true. I'm only the Duke. They're the Kings.
Exactly.
So, hello there.
He's landed gentry, but that's it. Anyway, so, this is Plausible Foolishness.
This is.
And I want to get started because we got a lot to talk about today.
Okay. So are we going to talk about what's hot in the media? Have you seen any new movies?
I did see a new movie.
You did. What did
see a
what did
real-
you see?
I saw Disney's A Jungle Cruise. Watched
Wow.
it with my wife.
So that was what? A lot of dad jokes?
Actually, yes.
Really?
Yes.
Ah,
He,
awesome.
He, The Rock's character does nothing but dad jokes.
That's fantastic. Does he do the backside of water?
Yes, he did show them the backside of water. So what they ingeniously did with, you know, relating the ride to the movie is that he's a tour guide on the Amazon, set in, like, you know, the early 1900s, right?
Okay, so 1920s, 1930s, or
Maybe
1910s?
late 1800s. I'm not sure.
Okay.
The style of dress is Victorian,
Really? Okay.
right? So, like, it's not 1920s, so you're not getting flappers and stuff like that, you know? Like, Emily Blunt's character wears pants, and it's kind of a big thing. He calls her pants the whole movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, so we are that would be closer 1800s.
Yeah. So, he is a tour guide on the Amazon. He's taking these people out, and he's basically giving them the Jungle Cruise ride, but he's a scam artist.
He's a scam artist.
Yeah, so he, like, pays natives to dress up as the fearsome things, and, like, he's got like the fake animatronic hippo and stuff like that, you know. But it's not an animatronic; it's just a thing that he's got, like, ropes that he cuts, and, you know, so he
And
just
they
sets
pop up
he
and-
goes out and sets it all up, and then takes people out, you know.
Oh gosh.
So
Okay.
yeah, so he's scamming everybody. He's not actually giving them a real tour, though he has, you know, you find out later, he has toured most, if not all, of the Amazon. But yeah.
So this is
It's
about all
clever,
the
it's
angst that happened on this one tour guide. Was it a 3-hour tour?
No, it
A
wasn't.
3-hour tour?
No, it wasn't.
No.
They didn't have
Hey!
that joke.
That.
Fragilities. Thanks for the follow. Welcome to the Rube Empire. You are now a citizen, and we appreciate you. Anyway, so yeah, that was clever handling, and then they took it into the fantastical direction, you know, as Disney is wont to do.
It
And
wouldn't be Disney otherwise.
yeah, and it was I enjoyed it. It was a good movie. It wasn't, like, you know, wasn't mind blowing, but but it's just yet another, you know, darn good rock adventure, you know.
Good.
And
Okay.
Emily Blunt is great in it, and yeah.
It's better than some of their other ride-based movies.
Yeah, I mean, Pirates of the Caribbean started out pretty good.
The last one was not so good.
I mean,
They really went
by
off
the
the
third
rails.
one, it kind of went off the rails, you know.
Yeah.
When what's her face? When the spooky voodoo lady,
Turns out to be.
you know, and that's fine, but then they just turn her into a giant version of herself, and you're like, this is boring and stupid. You know, like, we could have done this so much better. You could have made her like she's the living embodiment of the ocean, right?
Yeah.
Why don't you make her out of the ocean? You know, when, like, she bursts into crabs and stuff, that was neat.
Yeah. That was
You know.
actually clever.
Yeah, but then, like, she grows giant, and it's just her giant standing in the. It's like boring, you know. Make her out of the ocean.
Yeah.
You know, that's far more terrifying to me.
Yeah. Because the
Yeah.
ocean, that's exactly what they're in. They're in nothing but her.
Yeah,
In that case.
yeah,
So she could do pretty much whatever she wanted.
yeah. So it's just dumb things like that I thought were bad choices.
But anyways,
But,
getting back to the Rock's movie, you enjoyed it though.
I did enjoy it. I would give it, you know, like 4 out of 5 stars, maybe 3.5. probably 4. I'm usually pretty generous when it comes to movies.
You
I don't
really are.
Well, like people
I
talk,
think I'm more critical.
people get really they love to harp on movies. There's
Yeah.
definitely movies that aren't as good as others,
Yes.
but did I get entertainment out of them? Yeah. So why is this a bad movie? Why are we crapping all over this movie? I at least got some entertainment out of it.
Usually it's for moral or ideological reasons that I don't like a movie.
Yeah, that's a whole
typically
that's
where I go.
that's legit.
Where I don't like something like Captain Marvel. Ideologically, I don't like the movie.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, it has big problems.
Yeah.
Now, I do have to say, as I was watching it, I wasn't bored. I just was like rolling my eyes
Oh yeah.
every now and then,
See, and that's anytime that I'm rolling my eyes, I'm not enjoying a movie. That's my issue. I can't enjoy something if I'm like, oh, really,
Yeah.
really, you have to go there. You can't write
guess-
something better.
And I'm like that too. But I have to weigh in. Like, I did get some entertainment out of that movie.
Yeah.
I won't watch. I probably won't ever watch it again. Like, if it came on TBS or whatever, I'm not like, oh, okay, yeah, sure. I'm like,
Flip.
seen it, done.
Yep.
But like, there's been movies that I was like, wholly unentertained and angry when I walked out of them.
So that leads me into the movie that I saw this week, and that was Suicide Squad.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Really low expectations on that one
Sure.
because
You
of-
saw the first
I
Suicide
saw
Squad.
the first one, and I also saw Justice League in the movie theater.
I didn't hate Justice League in the movie theater.
I
Like-
was disappointed by it pretty badly, and this
Well,
is
I mean,
still in
it
that
didn't
realm.
it didn't live up to what it could be, but I didn't hate it. It just wasn't
It wasn't
like it
good.
wasn't what Justice League should be.
And the Snyder cut that they did release later was the movie I wished I would have had.
Oh, see, I don't agree with that.
I do.
I think it was definitely better,
Oh,
but it's
yeah.
still not what the Justice League could and should be. It did not live up to
I thought it
expectations
was-
on my part.
from what it was to what it became was infinitely better. Was it as good as, say, Avengers Endgame or anything like that? No.
No, it
I
wasn't
think-
as good as Avengers 1.
I'm sorry. There's very little that will top On Your Left, and Captain America yelling, "Avengers, assemble!" It's just yeah. It still gives me goosebumps to this day. That's what a movie should be. Avengers all the way. Yes, exactly. Now, was Suicide Squad this one? It was a lot better. I will give it that. It was
Well, James Gunn has a knack for making funny.
It was
movies.
entertaining. One of my favorite characters in it, who was portrayed by Rocky, Sylvester Stallone.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he portrayed the voice of King Shark.
So
Yeah.
now he's a guardian. He's not a guardian, but he's a
He's pretty much
he's in Guardians of the Galaxy and in
Yes.
the Suicide Squad.
yes. So technically, he's
Oh,
in
so
both
he
universes.
voiced the shark
Yes.
dude.
hmm
Okay,
And I found him immensely entertaining.
interesting.
Yeah, King Shark. Without going all nerd and into the history of King Shark, which I could, I found this iteration to be a lot of fun.
Word.
He's one of the more powerful characters in the DC universe.
Seriously?
Yeah, he took a Superman punch and brushed it off. He's just durable. He's not smart. He's just durable.
All right.
Um,
He's a shark with legs.
he's a shark with legs that's a
Stupid.
son of a god.
Okay, so and Superman's, aside from kryptonite, his
Weakness is
is
magic.
magic. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, fine.
And he eats people. It's quite funny. And the banter between Bloodsport and
Bloodsport or Bloodshot?
Bloodsport.
Bloodsport.
Yeah.
Who's that?
So Bloodsport and Bloodshot get
Well, Bloodshot, I think, is
Or-
actually a Valiant character, right? A Valiant comics.
yeah. Bloodsport is another variation of Deadpool. The guy just never misses any of his shots. He's a perfect shooter.
No, his name's not Bloodsport.
Yeah, it is.
No,
Yes, it's
I think his name
Bloodsport.
is Deadshot.
No, there's Deadshot, and then there's Bloodsport. Trust me, it's DC,
So, but they are the same.
Marvel
But they're
ripping
the same.
each other.
But they're both in DC. Deadshot is in DC,
Yes,
and Bloodsport is in DC, and they
Yes.
have the same power.
yes. There's actually two characters in this movie with the exact same abilities, and the repartee between the two of them of who's the better shot is hilarious throughout the movie.
Okay.
James Gunn nailed it with that one.
All right, okay.
Because Bloodsport's supposed to be the captain of the team, and what's her face is introducing him to all the people. She gets to this other character, which I cannot remember his name. He wears a metal helmet and
Yeah,
very
that's Deadshot, right?
no. Different
You're John Cena's character.
John Cena's
Yeah, that's a
character.
different guy.
Completely different character, and she's listing off all the stuff that he can do, and the guy and Bloodsport's standing there. You just listed off everything I can do, and John Cena goes, "Yeah, but I do it better."
Okay, so they don't have. Wait a second. So,
And so they just go through this whole thing.
so in the original Suicide Squad,
Mhm.
Will Smith played
Deadshot.
Deadshot,
Yeah.
who is a character that doesn't miss. So they have 3 characters that don't miss.
They actually have quite a few characters that never
Good
miss.
Lord,
Yeah, because you've got
this
Green
is
Arrow.
why DC sucks so bad.
You got Green Arrow, who can never misses no matter what he uses, but he prefers bow and arrows. You have.
You know how many characters? I mean, I'm sure there's more than one, but I can think of one character in Marvel that has that power. Bullseye.
Bullseye, Hawkeye.
No, Hawkeye misses.
No, Hawkeye doesn't miss.
Hawkeye misses. Hawkeye's not perfect.
I do know them all, Rochelle.
That's ridiculous. DC is the worst. DC's like their iconic characters are iconic.
Yeah.
Superman, Wonder Woman, Flash, the Justice League.
Green
They're
Lantern.
great. Batman and his Rogues Gallery is great for the
Yes.
most part. And then from there, it just is garbage.
It dwindles drastically.
Yeah. Just, oh, God, so bad.
I will say Superman.
And I'm not saying that like Golden Age Marvel was like amazing. No,
No,
it was the same, but
at least their
like,
villains were a little bit
like
more
they
interesting.
didn't name a character Captain Cold.
Okay, put it this way.
You know?
One of the people on Suicide Squad is the Polka Dot Man.
Yeah. The names are terrible.
Honestly,
I mean, like, sure, the
I've
guy
never-
uses electricity, but his name is Electro.
Yeah.
Or the Shocker,
or the Shocker, yeah.
which in today's day and age has.
I can't
whole
do
other-
that symbol. We might get
Yeah.
banned.
But
Watch
But-
Lego Batman, yeah. They
Uh.
list off all the pencil head, eraser.
and I'm not saying that Marvel doesn't have those characters. They do.
Hmm.
But much fewer than DC, and like they kind of just let them fade away, whereas Captain Cold is still like a nemesis of Flash,
Yes. Well, he's actually more thought out and well done.
Well,
in
yeah.
The current
I'm
iteration
sure that
than the
they've
original.
updated these characters and made them, but the guy's name is Captain Cold.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not taking you seriously. I'm not.
You got Polka Dot Man.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously.
Like their Reed Richards, their Mr. Fantastic is, and I'm not saying Mr. Fantastic is like the best name, but it's better than Plastic Man,
Invisible Girl.
the Invisible Woman.
No, it's still Invisible Girl.
Who? You mean
Sue Richards.
no? It's the Invisible Woman.
They changed it in the 2004 version when the movie came out, but up until that point, it was the Invisible Girl. Yeah.
I don't believe you.
Okay. I'll pull the comics and show you later.
Well, I mean, at one point she was a girl.
Yeah. At several points, she was a girl.
That's fine. But I'm not saying. Yeah. Again.
But yeah.
You know, it's. I just think it's night and day. But maybe I'm just a fanboy, and that's interesting. Maybe
bugs.
I'm just a fan. Yeah. Well, this is garage living, my friends.
Yeah, we forgot to close the door.
It's fine. Anyway, so I might just be a fanboy, but I'm right. So deal with it.
So, anyways, to conclude, you will change your Suicide Squad was enjoyable. It was a fun movie to just go, all right, brains off, let's go.
Enjoy.
Not a great plot, but it was fun.
Does this tie into a larger DC universe at all?
Not really.
I think they're done trying to do that.
Well,
Right.
they
Once the
said that
Snyder
universe
Vo-
was
once-
done with
yeah.
Justice League. This is the last holdover other than Aquaman, and they're still in production with that one. But after that, they said it's done. But I mean, this actually made money. Well, not much money, but some money.
Well, they're blaming, like, did you see that, like, Suicide Squad didn't do well in theaters, and so they're blaming the unvaccinated.
They're blaming the unvaccinated.
Yeah, there was an article that I saw. The headline was, essentially that, the unvaccinated are driving people away from theaters where they might get.
Or could it be that HBO Max is releasing all the movies straight to streaming?
No, that would be
Because I'm
ridiculous.
pretty sure
Why are we
that's
going
why.
to? That's a Viacom company. So if we don't want to,
No, it's not. It's AT&T.
I was being facetious.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
Viacom owns Star Trek.
CBS, Paramount, right?
Yeah. And that, trust me, that
Yeah.
is a nightmare you do not want me to untangle. It would take me
Yes.
probably 2 hours
I
to
was
go through
being
that.
I was being facetious. I don't care who owns it. I'm just saying it's a media corporation. We don't
Yeah.
trash media corporations.
I don't trash them.
No.
Oh, they don't
Other
trash them.
media does not trash other media because they're lockstep to divide the country in black
Vaccinated.
versus or white versus minorities, vaccinated versus unvaccinated, etc., etc., etc.
Versus actual movie ticket sales.
Which makes me sad. I love the theater.
I love doing on a regular basis that doesn't cost me an arm and a leg.
It doesn't cost you an arm and a leg.
Not usually.
Well, if you go by yourself, yeah.
The rest of the time, I could just give my money here and call
Yeah, well,
to see that.
oh really? Well, it was supposed to
in
come
this
out like how
climate,
many?
Anything else? They was supposed to release.
Yeah, he doesn't even. Just doesn't. And Ryan Reynolds, knocks comedy out of the park all the time. And he's
Deadpool
and like in my opinion, I haven't seen anything that's too controversial.
6.
Well, he doesn't talk about it,
No, ever.
and that's fine. That's great. That's what I want. That's what I expect from celebrities.
His comedy.
I expect him, like,
he roasts everybody equally, and that's what I
Yeah.
love.
Yeah.
I don't
Like-
mind comedies that roast politicians, but do it evenly.
well, here's the thing. We're all people. I mean, who are we? We're just two schlubs broadcasting on the internet our opinions on politics, right?
Mostly.
We try to have a factual basis for it.
You're trying to have fun
Everybody
with it.
should have that right, obviously, that we are pro, freedom of speech.
That's why we don't censor anybody that comments in on our
Yeah.
live.
But
You wanna say
so
something?
what is
Say it.
why are we not, hypocrites when we denounce celebrities for voicing their opinions? It's not that they're voicing their opinions really. Like, I suspect that when I see a Hollywood personality and you were to ask me, what do you think that they believe politically? Well, they're probably left.
Yeah.
Yeah. The problem is when they think that their opinion carries some weight.
Yeah.
And they all do because they're self-absorbed egomaniacs. And they and is that entirely their fault?
Probably
No,
not.
they work in an industry that
Caters to that.
yeah, that not just caters to that, but like molds you into that, you know? Like, that's why all child TV stars, except for Kirk Cameron, are insane people. You know?
Cameron's not insane.
No, he's not insane.
Okay. I'm just pulling your leg. He's probably
Why?
the most normal one out of
Yeah, well,
all
I
of
mean,
them.
he's more like us than
Like one of the
than
huge stars.
than like Miley Cyrus.
Whoa.
Yeah, she's a piece of work.
Wow, that you really went deep on that one.
Yeah, she's probably the absolute worst. But you know, I mean, they
Britney's
all
right
turn
up
out
there.
pretty. What's that?
Britney's right up there.
No, I disagree. She went crazy.
She still doesn't have control of her money.
Well, yeah, that's not her fault. That's her
No,
terrible parents' fault.
That's still her.
How is that her? I mean,
She
she's
signed off her legal right to control her money to her parents when she went off the deep end, and she still hasn't proven that she can handle it.
Well, I don't know about proving that she can handle it.
'Cause she has to
My
prove in
understanding,
court.
everything seems to be like they're working the legal system so that she can never get it back.
Yeah, that could be true. I don't know.
That's
I
what
haven't
the-
gone that deep into.
Well, that's what the whole Free Britney thing now is. You know,
I
that
really don't
she's
care.
coming out and saying, I mean, yeah, but like, you know, she trusted her parents and then now they're screwing her. You know, and
It
that's
is a
what.
lot of
But
money.
this is what Hollywood does. It destroys people, right?
and families
Anyway.
and whatever.
So I would of course say the left, but then you know I would say that they're left, but then these egomaniacs think that
They're just right.
they're just right, and they don't have to have facts or figures or you know it's
I'm
just
famous.
science. And I'm famous.
You
I know
must
what I'm
listen to me.
talking about. You should believe me.
Well, I'm sorry, but your opinion is no more valid than my own.
Yes, but mine is bolstered by some articles that I'd like to show you. Oh wait. No, I'm a hate monger. Sorry. Okay.
You want to use facts?
I'll
You
be a
wanna use
good pleb and I'll shut up.
facts? That's racist.
Yeah, facts are racist. Just ask Topher. He knows about that. Anyway,
He does know that
Yep.
very, very well.
yep, it's a good song too.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, so yeah, we done with pop culture, or do you have anything else you want to talk about?
I could go into What If and from Marvel and
We'll say that for next week when I can actually watch it.
yes, please.
And we're 30
actually a
minutes
lot of
into
fun.
the show, so we don't want to go too far.
Well, we started late.
Well,
Give me my
no,
medium, man.
We've been live for 30 minutes.
Okay. Fine.
Yeah,
Fine.
fine,
Fine.
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 Did Trump do anything of note?
No. Still.
Yeah.
Well, it's really hard to get any information on him because, well, most of the media is blocking him
yeah.
and refuse to cover him.
Interesting.
Oh, news of note. Newsmax is being sued by, or what was the voting people that screwed up really bad?
Yeah, Dominion.
Dominion, for $1.6 billion. I almost said trillion. So that's coming later. Foreshadowing.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah. Well, that's been
for defamation.
for quite some time, right? Or is that new?
That's new.
Well,
There was
there was the
rumors-
suit against Mike Lindell,
There was a suit against Mike Lindell.
and now they have a suit against Newsmax.
Yes, for
They're not
defamation.
gonna win it.
They're gonna have to try really hard to win that one. Because show me the evidence where Newsmax lied.
Yeah, exactly.
Or show me the evidence where they didn't retract what they said and found out later that it was wrong, and then they retracted.
Dominion, they're a piece of work too.
Oh yeah.
Anything else? Or are we gonna go into the topic of the day?
We can go into the topic of the day because
Let's
that
do it.
kind of leads into the last topic of the
Let's
day.
go. Let's do it. You might have noticed the title. Corporate media's hyper Cuomosexuality.
This is the way.
Yes.
News.
the Cuomosexuals of the media are loving this story.
Homosexual, is that... What are their pronouns?
I'm
kidding. Don't answer that.
I got it. It's their pronouns are gabagool and spugots. There's
Spaguzza.
you know how his defense, well, like sort of his defense was, I'm not, I'm just Italian. This is what we do, Because
I give hugs freely.
Most of the there's at least one accusation that's, criminal.
Yeah.
Right. But most of the accusations are of him being like touchy, a little touch on the face, a little. But that is very, that is Italian culture, right?
Stop! Don't touch me there. This is my no-no square.
You did it.
Stop! Don't touch me there. This is my no-no square.
Hey!
Oh, what?
You're going to call him back.
Anyway,
Too much of that.
His defense was he's Italian, right? It wasn't a defense, but it was something that he mentioned in regards to why he's touchier than the average bear, and then there's this meme account on Instagram that I follow, and they put out a shirt that says, "I'm not perverted, I'm just Italian."
Oh, jeez. That'll get you in trouble.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh man. Anyway, so
I have a feeling the no-no square is going to be coming up.
so if you remember back in the day, and this is all over right-wing media, back in the day when Andrew Cuomo won his Emmy for his daily COVID briefs, and puts a new meaning to the word briefs. Am I right? Come on, that was a dad joke. You know it.
It was a dad joke.
I mean, you can play it. I like the song. So
No, I'm not going to do it, but
it makes me happy inside.
it's getting close to it. Let's make this brief.
You're terrible.
It gets a lot worse. Rochelle knows.
Yeah.
My dad jokes get real bad dad.
Yep. Anyway, so we've all experienced them. We've been here for that. Anyway, they were all loving. They called him the Love Gov. They
Yeah, he is the love gov.
Yeah.
Just ask all the women there.
No, but they were calling him the Love Gov. Oh, like Chelsea Handler was calling him her boyfriend, and like she was just turning. And then they came out with this, mock, like they love him so much that they're starting to become Cuomosexuals. Oh, they're so witty and fun. And I mean, whatever. It's just kind of the sick of it. It's funny once, and then when every single celebrity is spouting this, it's just they're sycophants.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever promotes the agenda, they're in love with the Love Gov. It's they're so gross. Anyway,
so is he.
Yes, he is. And so now, he's resigning in 14 days. And so, I think Trevor Noah was the one who coined the Cuomosexual. And then he tweets yesterday or today, I'm not sure which, 14 days to flatten the perv. and that's funny.
That is funny.
That is funny.
It's actually funny.
It is funny.
I think it's the first joke I've ever laughed at his.
Yeah, right? It's definitely clever. Very funny.
He didn't write
Until
it,
you
did he?
consider the source. Well, yeah, he definitely. Of course, he didn't write that. He probably didn't even post it. His interns
Good
posted
point.
that. But until you consider the source and you realize this is the guy who was calling him the Love Gov and the Cuomosexual, and that he was a Cuomosexual, coined the term Cuomosexual. And he's never come back on that. That's just his memory hold. We don't that never happened. You know?
Mm-hmm.
And like, or if you mention it, it's like, well, yeah, well, I mean, obviously I didn't know that he was, okay, but where is the, like, there's no self-awareness ever.
No.
For these people. You know? They just, they either memory hole it or they have their defense and that's all there is to it. And then, you know, now they're clever and they're on the right side of it. They're always on the right side of history, you know? It's garbage.
Yeah, it is.
Anyway, but then what's worse is that that this is all we're talking about. Is this the most important thing that's happening in America?
Oh God, no.
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 It really isn't. And so but this is all that the corporate media is talking about. That's why they have that's why I'm calling them hyper Cuomosexuals. Because in good to their mind or bad to their mind, and you know, any right thinking person's mind in terms of sexual harassment, he's useful as a distraction.
Yeah. Look over
And
here.
what are they
Pay
distracting
no attention
from?
to what my hand over here is doing.
We're not talking about any of the new forensic audits that are happening of the 2020 election.
Oh, you mean the ones where Trump? It's pretty
Well-
much discovered that Trump won.
Well, there's Arizona that was finished, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, and we haven't heard any results except that it doesn't look good for Biden.
Correct.
You know, like there's a big discrepancy, but we're not gonna. That's as far as we're gonna talk about it because we can't have people thinking that there was
But it was
stolen
the
election.
safest and fairest election
Yeah.
in
Most
human
secure.
history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No election fraud. None.
No election fraud.
But there's also my understanding is that Wisconsin's opening up the tallies. You know, I know that there were things in Georgia, but Wisconsin is the one that I heard most recently. So that's something. But even bigger than that was some bills that were just passed at, what was it, 1 a.m. in the morning by Congress?
Yeah. 1 a.m. A new budget put forth. Biggest budget ever
At 1 a.m. in the morning?
at 1 a.m. in the morning.
And that wasn't big news?
No, apparently not. Not as big as
Cuomo resigning was the big
Cuomo
one.
resigning was the big news, and having his
And-
lawyer
and
talking
he's-
about it.
And he's resigning because he is, you know, he basically put policies into place that murdered thousands of elderly, right?
Tens of thousands, yes.
Yeah, that's why he was
No.
being ousted, why
No.
he resigned.
Why he's resigning is all these women are coming forth and saying that he's well, a bit of a perv, and he likes to.
Get inside that no-no square.
Yep.
It's all up in that no-no square.
So, rather than being
And-
ousted for his policies, for murdering people because of his
But like,
policies,
he's going to be like, there's going to be a trial and an investigation, right?
not as of yet. But don't worry, they'll impeach Trump. They're going to get him. He's going to get what's due to him.
Yeah. And do you think Cuomo's going to get? I mean, he's going to resign, and then that'll be the end of it, right?
No, he'll probably run for president.
Yeah, they'll wash him up. They'll clean him up on CNN and MSNBC and
Yeah,
all
he'll,
that.
He'll make his apology tour, and then he'll run for Senate and whatever. But
You're probably absolutely right, but he's never going to see the inside of a jail. So
no,
whatever
No,
this
he's a Democrat.
this district attorney or whatever, was it the district attorney,
something like that.
or attorney general of New York or whatever, this person who we who
Trust
released
to-
that press statement that he definitely committed sexual harassment, blah blah blah.
But we're not.
That was
gonna
all
prosecute.
just to start this process,
Mhm.
because and this seems conspiracy theorist hit the X-Files. This was just to create a new story that would dominate the airwaves while while they voted on this giant budget in the middle of the night at 1 a.m. in the morning.
So how big was this budget?
My understanding it was $3.5 trillion.
You mean billion?
No. Trillion.
Trillion dollars.
Yes, $1 trillion. Now it was $250 billion over what our GDP is.
256 billion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all 256 billion in deficit spending.
Yeah.
So that's
the money we don't have.
256 billion dollars that we're either printing or borrowing from China. And
That's
then,
always good.
And so like the larger budget was voted on and passed entirely by Democrats.
Yes.
It was completely
50 to 49.
completely nonpartisan.
Yep.
But 1.2 trillion of that budget was voted on by 19 Republicans,
Yes.
and that's that infrastructure bill.
Part of that infrastructure bill. Yes.
Well, part of the budget was the infrastructure bill, right?
Yes.
So they passed the infrastructure bill first. 19 Republicans. So basically what I'm guessing is that the 19 Republicans voted for the infrastructure bill to be tacked on to the budget. To be okay to be part of the budget, right?
Yeah.
And then the Democrats pushed the budget through.
Yeah.
Thank you. So the 19 Republicans can say, I didn't vote on that budget. I didn't vote.
They actually
yes.
voted no.
I voted no on that budget. I didn't want that budget. Then why did you vote to add the $1.2 trillion infrastructure bill? You did vote on that budget. You voted yes to the infrastructure bill that got added to the budget, and then you knew that the Democrats could get the budget passed on their own.
So do you know who
You
was
scumbags.
the major?
Scumbags.
Do you know who was the major writer or the lead writer for the budget bill?
I'd say Pelosi.
You'd be close.
Oh, sorry.
But somebody who's even farther
you did-
left than she is.
You did tell me. It was Bernie Sanders.
Bernie Sanders
Colonel Sanders over there.
wrote this thing. The guy that's probably the oldest person in the Senate, isn't he?
He's old.
He's very old. Anyways, he's also a leftist, racist. Just go down the line. It's all the ists.
Communist.
Wrote this bill, 3.5 trillion.
Democratic Socialist.
Yeah, which
Communist.
is not a thing. It's actually just
Well,
socialist.
it's just the mob pushing socialism.
Yeah.
I mean, the mob pushed socialism in Russia. You know,
Oh yeah.
it was the mob who went and murdered all the farmers and took their land, and then, they did it for
The brown shirts
the
in Germany.
Yeah.
We can go right down the list.
Yeah.
China, Mao's China.
Mm-hmm.
They just straight up murdered millions. Just wiped them off the face of the earth. Flooded entire areas to kill off people that they didn't want. So they moved rivers.
Mhm.
Literally moved rivers.
Starved people because of poor.
Yeah.
I mean, some of it was just bad management, but it ended
lot
up
of it.
killing hundreds of millions.
But they've got billions, so it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. People are just cogs in the machine anyway.
So Senate Majority
They have
Leader
no
Chuck
inherent
Schumer.
worth. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Let me try that again. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer.
You're not going to get through it. It's
I'm
Chuck
not.
Schumer. It's okay.
Okay. Release some of the text of what's in this bill, and there's citizenship for illegal immigrants,
Cool. That's fun.
free child care and second education, $726 billion on that one. God has to be completely removed from all schools in this, by the way. Federal housing, 332 billion towards government subsidized low income and affordable housing. In other words, tenements
Mm-hmm.
or housing for the non-vaccinated.
Listen, you're gonna own nothing, and you're gonna love it. You're
Yeah.
gonna love life.
You're not going to own a thing, not a car, not a house, not even your furniture, not even your
Yeah,
TV.
you're gonna own nothing, and you're gonna be
You're just
happy.
happy.
You're gonna be
Just
happier
love it.
for it. You know,
Because
private property
you don't
is the
have
problem.
to worry about anything.
Let the state handle owning things.
Yeah. New healthcare reform and permanent funding. Yeah, childcare funding. And funding for healthcare workers as well as childcare workers. Oh, this was one of my favorites. Extremely aggressive policies to move U.S. away from fossil fuels.
Oh, so the new Green Deal.
It's sounding more and more like that, isn't it? Taxing. That's 26 billion directed towards that. So that they're going to start taxing us by every mile that we drive, instead of by
this
the
is
gallon.
the
that we
test program
buy.
for that.
Which means if they're doing every mile that we drive, they have to track that in some way, which means they have to track our cars.
Which means if you buy a new car, you find that tracker and you remove it.
Good luck, because it's built into the car now.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm sure it's built into the car.
Yeah.
You remove it.
No, it's like built in. You can't remove it.
Oh,
You
there's a
remove
way.
it and you can't drive it.
There's a way. You might have to buy another
ECU.
Another chip to, third-party chip that doesn't have all that crap in it. But there's a way.
Yeah.
It's called hacking.
I will say I bought a car last year, and my car has the tracking in it, and there's no way to take that out.
I bet there is.
Yeah, buy an old truck.
That's not taking it out. No, but I'm
It
serious.
is
I
taking
bet
it out. They
no,
can't track
that's
it.
that's replacing your car. I'm saying, I bet that there is a way to take it out.
So, in all this
You're gonna have to mod it. You're gonna have to, it'll be, be jury rigged, but it's got to be possible. I'm sure of it.
So, in all this stuff that they've added in here, how are they going to pay for it? That's the next thing in this article.
That doesn't matter.
Oh, they're changing the tax rules.
Oh, great.
Oh, and
In the budget bill,
in the budget bill.
so it didn't have to be a separate bill.
So they're drastically raising the price of everyone making $400,000 or more a year. The issue with that is the other stuff that we talked about, raising of the reduction of the fuel and things like that. Oh, that raises all of our fuel prices. Who pays for that?
We do.
Oh, we do. We really do. So get ready to pay $7 or $8 a gallon here fairly shortly. The child care, that's all free child care, and the free secondary education, yeah, that's not free.
Of course not. That's property taxes or
Yep.
something like that.
You name it, go down the list of any tax, and it's going to be upped. Income tax.
Oh, but we got that child credit. Woohoo!
Yeah, that's money. We're paying 10 times what we're getting back.
Of course.
That's on a conservative view on it. But yeah, so it's just absolutely great. They're expecting with the deficit spending being what it is, by 2031, our deficit will be somewhere around 45 trillion. My guess is we'll probably hit that a lot sooner than 2031.
Probably.
At this rate and the way they're spending, I think we could probably hit that by 2025.
Nice. That's good.
Or even 2024.
It's good.
Because that's
I'm not an investing professional. I am not a financial advisor. I'm just gonna say one word. Bitcoin. The end.
digital currency.
Full stop. Yep. Land. Even then, that's property taxes, but yeah. Buy things that have value outside of fiscal, fiat money.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Things like hard currency, I don't know, precious metals.
This is so gross. And the 19 Republicans just tick me. But this is like par for the course. This is not anything new.
No,
This happens all the time.
where we'll go for this, but not for that.
Where they position themselves,
To where they look okay.
but then they were right there along with it the whole time.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
And it's all the names that you know. Mitch McConnell. Who else?
If they're sitting anywhere near the center aisle, it's probably one of them.
I don't think Lindsey Graham was on there. To his credit. Which is
Really?
unusual. I don't think he was one of the ones.
That would shock me if he wasn't.
Gosh, I'm seeing the image, but I can't remember their names. But you've heard the names before, and it's never been with like glowing. You know, it's never been.
We've never
you've heard
spoken of them reverently.
You've heard their names before, but there's never been a video clip attached where you're like, man, this guy's awesome. You know, none of that. That never happens. It's not. No Dan Crenshaw
No.
voted for this. Ted Cruz didn't vote for this. Rand Paul didn't vote for this.
No.
Mike Lee didn't vote for this.
No.
You know, it's the other scumbags who actually have, you know, power in the system because they're scumbags, because, you know, they've been in it for the power and the wealth, and with that comes the blackmail that leads to, you know, the destruction of America.
Pretty much.
I mean, how does $3.5 trillion budget with $1.2 trillion of infrastructure spending that isn't going? It's not going to go to your roads and your bridges.
So
This isn't fixing roads and bridges.
Oh no.
Anyway.
The infrastructure has nothing to do with actually fixing our roads, our
And even
internet.
if there is crap that says this is
how
going
about
to
our
this,
water?
it won't actually go to this. You won't see the bridge that's crumbling in your city
No.
get repaired.
Or the
Because it's
water
actually going to get
or the sewage.
Yeah, it's going to
that
get
is just
moved.
crumbling underneath us.
Just like the money in Social Security isn't there, you know?
Oh, we're not going to have any of that.
They use that for other stuff.
Yeah.
They just write themselves. This is just them writing themselves a blank check, essentially. You know, or like a check with no pay to.
So here's some of the.
You know, so they can put whatever they want in it, and then, you know.
Here's some of the
Enrich
the
themselves.
Republicans that voted with the Democrat. You might recognize some of them: Mitt Romney,
Yeah, Mitt Romney was one.
Dan
kinda cute.
Sullivan, Tom Tillis, Mike Crapo. I wish I could say his name.
Unfortunate name for a scumbag politician.
Kind of like, what was his name? Was Penis something? No.
No, it was Anthony Weiner.
Yeah, Wiener.
Penis
Kevin
something.
Kramer, Roger Wicker, Roy Blunt, Richard Burr, Shelley Moore, Bill Cassidy, Susan Collins,
Lisa Murkowski.
Lindsey Graham,
Lindsey Graham was there? Okay, so I
Yeah.
didn't see him. But
Chuck Grassley.
that's not surprising. Chuck Grassley, yeah,
Yep.
you know him. Who's the other one?
Lisa Murkowski,
Yeah, I said her. She's
Yeah.
from Alaska, right?
Rob Portman,
Rod Portman. He's always his
And
name always comes up on the wrong side.
Jim Risk.
There's another woman.
Shelley Moore.
No,
Shelley Moore Capito,
no, that didn't.
West Virginia.
No, it was somebody else.
Susan Collins.
Susan Collins. That's the other one.
Lindsey Graham.
Yeah, see, typical people. All the people you know are never gonna side for liberty or fiscal responsibility or anything like that.
But every last one of them signed a document stating that they will not approve the budget and will filibuster. Or not filibuster. They'll not the budget, but the cap. They won't vote for the cap.
Oh, so they won't raise the cap?
Yeah, the deficit spending.
Yeah, it's not deficit spending. It's the debt
The
ceiling.
debt ceiling. Yes, they won't vote for the to expand the debt
Yeah,
ceiling.
yeah. They will.
Oh, they will. They always do.
Well,
They have
signed
to.
They signed an agreement to who? How is that binding in any way? It's not. They don't care.
So this,
And they didn't vote for the
Minority
again. They didn't vote for the budget. Remember? So they can sit back and say, "I didn't vote for the budget." They
No.
didn't vote for the budget. They just made the budget $1.2 trillion bigger,
so 3.5 trillion.
knowing that the Democrats were going to pull the what is it? What's it called?
Doggone, I'm brain farting on it.
Yeah, me too.
I'll think of it in a second.
Reconciliation.
Yep, there you go.
Yep.
See?
They pulled reconciliation, and so that they didn't have to have the actual majority numbers that you would need to have,
60.
and then so they only needed
50.
50.
Yep.
50 to 49.
Yep.
And you don't think Mitch McConnell knew that they were gonna? You don't think he knew that they were gonna do that? He knew. He knew that they would pull that.
2022 can't get here fast enough.
He knew, and he doesn't care. There's probably some pork for his district in that $1.2 trillion. You know, there's probably some pork for his wallet
I will say,
in there.
I was actually rather shocked. I'm not a fan of Rick Scott. I think he's a tool, especially a tool of Democrats. His press conference today really surprised me. He actually stood up and argued quite fervently against this spending bill and gave very good, articulate responses.
Well, like Florida under him wasn't very. I mean, we our budget was pretty good, right?
It was
I don't remember it being terrible.
no, it wasn't bad, but he's not really a conservative.
Yeah.
He's a rhino.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say he's at least more fiscally conservative than some, because like
Yeah,
he was a businessman,
Yeah.
so like he understands about being solvent, about actually having the money that you spend.
It does help.
Yeah,
And having that in our Constitution,
of course.
our state's Constitution helps us greatly in that we can't spend more than we bring in.
Yeah, well, that's of course if you follow the Constitution. The federal government
Doesn't have
exercises
that.
all kinds of powers that they don't actually have.
Yeah. Yeah, the federal
And
government
we just
has
let them do it.
all kinds of
10th
stuff.
Amendment, what's that?
Second Amendment, you don't need that.
Yeah. Shall not infringe. I'm not sure I understand what that means, so I'm gonna
No,
go ahead and infringe.
Yeah. No fully automatic weapons for you.
Yeah. And wait times, and you have to jump through all these hoops to get a gun.
But you can't carry your gun, not in public. No.
No.
No,
Absolutely
you have
not.
to get a permit for that.
Yet another hoop to jump through. So you had to jump through hoops to get the gun. Now you got to jump through hoops to actually carry
Have
the
the
gun. And then and then we want to do all kinds of other things.
And
but
how dare
you
you actually use it to defend yourself?
But those aren't infringements, because we're not stopping you from getting a gun, per se.
We're not stopping you. We're just making it difficult.
I'm pretty sure that's still an infringement.
Yeah.
That's still an infringement.
Yeah.
Like, I think you can't restrict me in any way, shape, or form.
Don't forget about First Amendment.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You can say whatever you want, but I have to agree with it. It can't be offensive.
Mm.
How dare you offend
Thou shalt
me?
be nice. Thou shalt be nice. And we define what nice is.
Yeah. Right.
So again, the big story is Cuomo, and the
much bigger
the
story.
financial destruction of the dollar.
The $3.5 trillion story
Yeah,
that should have been absolute
So,
headlines all over every single
they
media.
did this at 1 a.m. in the morning, people.
Yeah.
They did this at 1 a.m. in the morning.
on a Wednesday.
These people are scum.
You don't think that wasn't deliberately done?
Like, this is convergence, right?
Mhm. And it'll pass the House because guess who has majority in the House?
Mm-hmm.
And they don't have to worry about reconciliation.
But you were right. 2022 cannot come fast enough.
Yes. We need to take back the Senate and the House.
You know, I was listening to Tim Pool, and he was I think he was spot on, because like in 2016, you know, Trump had built this, you know, I mean, just this engine of fervor, right?
Yeah.
You know, and it swept him into the office.
Yeah.
But in 2018, that fervor wasn't there, and so the Democrats flipped like 30 seats.
Yeah.
And then he doesn't subscribe to the stolen, the selection theory, let's say. He's just waiting.
He has his doubts.
I imagine that he does have his doubts. Yes,
And that's fine. I have my doubts too, and I always wait for the evidence.
sure.
If there's evidence backing up,
I just
great.
think that
My
there's
doubts were
quite
right.
a bit of evidence to lean very heavily towards selection. But
I would lean that way too.
yes, he tries to stay neutral for various reasons.
Yes.
One, he's actually considers himself a journalist, so kudos to him. A
And
journalist
quite
should
frankly,
stay.
He actually does
should
a
do
lot
their
of real
best.
journalism.
Well, yeah. Well, now I mean, he started a whole website now. Timcast.com is like a news site. He has journalists working for him.
Nice.
He's turning. I mean,
So
he's
become an
turning.
editor.
He's turning. Yeah, he's turning Timcast, the podcast, and live stream into a multimedia, like, streaming service with shows completely unrelated to politics. He's trying to build culture, and he's trying to do real journalism. It's impressive, and the kid's in his like early 30s.
Not bad. Way to go, Tim.
Yeah, no, great, way to go. It makes me feel like a piece of crap. Just
Only
kidding.
because I'm in my 40s.
Yeah, just kidding. I don't feel like a piece of crap. I'm awesome. But you know, anyway, that's a little self-deprecating humor. I hope you enjoyed it. Now, on to what we were talking about. So in 2018, they didn't have the fervor. The people who were fervor, they were there for Trump.
Yes.
And they voted down ticket Republican that year. But, you know, he didn't drum up the real support in 2018, and so seats were flipped. 2020 comes, and whether or not you, whatever you believe about Biden, and whatever you believe about Biden, let's say that there was anti-Trump fervor.
Yes.
And so that turned things into, that may have led to, what am I trying to say? That may have led to Biden's, you know, election victory, let's say.
Yeah.
Now in 2022, there's no Trump to hate.
No.
Who's the Trump that they're gonna hate?
Biden. And most
Yeah.
of the Senate.
Probably.
Because they're the ones in power.
Well, like,
America always hates the person in power. The person in power that has pretty much all the leverage, all of the...
I mean, to a degree, yes.
and the United States always goes for the underdog. Well, majority of the time goes for the underdog. That's why a lot of times things like this happen.
But basically, there's no Trump to hate.
Yeah.
There's not going to be the anti-Trump fervor.
And
they're not going to go to the polls.
And the farther the left pushes left,
The more fervor
more
they're building.
further
In the
they're building
opposite.
to push it back right. And it's a pendulum
But
that keeps swinging.
it
Unfortunately,
is,
it keeps
but-
swinging farther and farther each way.
Well, I disagree. It doesn't swing farther in front because they also keep shifting the Overton window.
That's
And
true.
so we are always swinging more left, but we do come back. But we come
Back
come
left.
back more left than we did the last time we came back. You know.
Okay.
But that being said, so 2022 will most likely be a landslide. There was a poll of people, you know, across the political spectrum, and independents and Republicans, of course. Republicans definitely, and independents very heavily felt that the economy is garbage.
Yeah.
And then Democrats were were considerably, though maybe not the majority, I don't know, saying it was pretty all right. And this is just like how,
Okay, so
how do they? Where do they not see it?
I saw a hilarious video of a Democrat talking about how much the jobs market has improved. When you compare the jobs market to a year ago, yeah, it's improved a lot because the government was shut down, or the United States was shut down. There were no jobs open. To now, where there are less jobs than there were, I like to compare from 2 years ago, pre-COVID. That's where the comparison should be, not post-COVID, pre-COVID. So, this whole thing of comparing a year ago when we were midst COVID to now, yes, things have gotten better, but it's not better in a good way. It's better in a meh way.
Mm-hmm.
So they get no credit for adding, having 6% unemployment, where it was at, what was it, 14 or 18% unemployment
Yeah, exactly.
during COVID. Yeah, that's not okay. So, yeah, you don't get any credit for making jobs that were already there. Now, what I do disagree with is, okay, we have, in the last jobs report, we had 9 million people on unemployment. That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
We have 11 million job openings. Why are there 11 million job openings and 9 million people unemployed?
Those are all, well, because the real reason is because the unemployment benefits that they're getting exceed the pay that they would get if they went to the jobs.
So what? Excuse me. So what? Businesses have to pay more to get less service?
But
That doesn't
I mean,
jive with me.
it doesn't. It doesn't. But I don't think that's going away. I mean, the employment benefits might stop someday, but there's a big. We're headed for really, really big problems.
Oh yeah.
Man, the dollar is not worth anything.
The inflation rate has gone up 5%.
Oh, it's gone up way more than that, man.
It's five overall. It's 5% in 1 month.
Oh, okay, in 1 month.
1 month, 5% overall.
But like look at
inflation.
goods, like steak is up 10%.
So for every dollar that you
Lumber
have,
is up crazy amounts.
so for every dollar you have, you've lost 5 cents of that dollar. 5 cents of that dollar is gone.
Yeah, but this has been happening at 5% every year supposedly for so long. And that's
It's
and
close
that's
from
even
1% to 2% per year overall, not
They
5%
don't-
in 1 month.
well, yeah. No, I'm saying 5% per year. I mean, that's what they say whenever inflation is about 5%. And when like they tell you to invest, you want to invest so that you achieve, like, putting your money in a CD or in a money market account
You
gets
actually
you
lose
like
money.
1% or less.
Mm-hmm.
And inflation is at like 5%, around 5% a year.
Yeah, so you
So
actually
you're
lose money.
you're losing money because your money buys less.
It's working less.
Yeah. So you need it to grow, more than that, and you need like 10%. You want 10%.
Mm-hmm.
Or more if you can get it, which it is possible. Though many people claim it isn't, but that's garbage. It is.
Yeah.
Long term.
Yeah.
You can't look at things in the short term because, you have to be a long-term investor if you're looking toward the future. Anyway.
If you're looking for
Yeah, if this is like
gains.
retirement stuff, if
Yeah.
you want short-term gains, that's a different story. But when you're talking about retirement, you set it and forget it, kind of,
pretty
Not
much.
entirely. You want to maintain it. You want to keep looking at it. You
If
don't want
something goes-
something to happen in the mutual fund that you put it into, like leadership changes, and all of a sudden this thing is tanking and it's doing garbage work for years on end. No, you don't want that to happen. But
you don't want to GameStop it.
yeah, no, you don't.
GameStop was a fluke of a fluke of a fluke.
I would argue with that.
What?
So like the
GameStop and AMC, you don't think those were
AMC,
flukes?
well, sort of. They're sort of flukes. They're sort of flukes. They're not. They're viral. They're like decent positions that went viral. Okay.
Okay. Explain
Walk
this
with
to me.
Walk with me.
Yeah.
Walk with me and talk with me. Okay.
Because you're gonna have to break this down a little bit more.
So the whole phenomenon started with this one dude in a Reddit channel called Wall Street Bets.
Yes.
Right? But it's this one dude who's been high on GameStop for a long time. Right?
Yeah.
And that's the dude that you saw with the long hair who was speaking to Congress or whatever over this whole issue that happened when Robinhood stopped, when basically you couldn't buy GameStop anymore.
Yeah, they actually
You could only sell it because they're scumbags.
Yeah.
We talked about this when it was happening because I was outraged.
That they would do that.
It's got, how do they even have the right to do that? Scumbags.
I know
God.
they have the ability, but
they shouldn't have
they
the
shouldn't
ability.
have the right to.
They
block
shouldn't have
somebody.
the ability.
Yeah,
They've given themselves the ability, but they shouldn't have it.
correct. It's what
Anyway,
a free
so-
market's supposed to be.
Exactly.
Is free.
Exactly. Your hedge fund screwed up. Screw you. You screwed up.
Yeah.
Deal with it. We didn't screw up.
Well,
We screwed you.
yeah, I was gonna say.
And we did it perfectly legally and
Yep.
perfectly ethically. You were the ones who were unethical. You were shorting stocks you were shorting the stock with stocks that didn't exist.
Yes.
And that's why you were in such a bad position. So you were doing something illegal and immoral and you got screwed for it. And then you screwed everybody. But because
they
you have
tried
this
to.
power that you shouldn't have. It's disgusting. Anyway.
Yeah, they tried to, and
But it still hurt them.
the American people went.
But then they pulled a trick. Then they pulled a garbage move with silver and basically made their money back anyway. So
Yeah, they did.
It's disgusting. Anyway,
And then AMC came along and they did the same thing. And
kind of. But I mean, there was still movement. But either way, this original cat, whose name I cannot remember. I think it was oh, what was it? Something effing value. Anyway, he's been convinced that GameStop was a good stock to own for quite some time, and not, I mean, looking at it, it looks like they're a retail store for video games and everything is direct download now, but apparently they have all these other plans, and he'd been following them very, very closely and looking in and just really diving deep into the company itself, and like it's not like he believes that it's not a bad stock to own.
yeah,
That it's legit.
I actually own
But
some
then-
GameStop stock.
Yeah. But then a realization came about that not only was it a good stock to own, but these hedge funds were severely over leveraged on it in the short position.
Yeah.
And so if we just buy it and hold it, those shorts will eventually come due, and they'll have to buy it back at way more than they borrowed it for. So they're going to lose a lot of money, and they did.
And had this not happened, GameStop would not be around today.
Well, see, I disagree because he didn't what I'm saying
the
is
way they were shorting it.
oh
but-
yeah, no, yeah, okay, you're right.
Yeah,
You're right.
If the
So
shorts
he
would have come
he
due
was
and
looking at
nothing
the
would have happened.
fundamentals of the business, but the shorts would have destroyed them.
Yes.
These hedge funds were actually not so it's even worse. So they were doing something illegal and immoral by manipulating the market in illegal and immoral ways, but they were also doing something pretty immoral in that they were doing those illegal and immoral stock practices to
Destroy
destroy a
company.
business.
Yeah.
on purpose because it would make them a bunch of money.
Yes.
It's just even more disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry for if you heard that burp.
That was a real rumble.
You know, my wife made stew and it was delicious. And you know,
But
I'm a
anyway.
man. Deal with it. All right.
Getting
Gosh.
back to it, I'm actually enjoying this repartee.
So you know they, so so we're both right.
Yes.
In actuality. The business actually has, it seems to have strong fundamentals if you believe this dude.
I
Frankly, he was already a millionaire before it ever went viral.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm sure he made a ton of money off of it, but
his goal was not to make a bunch of money off of it.
he already had made a bunch of money because he knows what he's doing.
I think his goal, and I don't know him personally, so I'm guessing here. I think his goal was to try to save a company he thought was worth saving.
For sure.
And
For sure. And these people are unscrupulous. And the rest of the people were there to destroy the hedge funds.
Yes.
And good on them. I'm with them, man. I am with them. You know, you hodl that crap. You get out your diamond hands and you get those tendies and you hodl them until the hedge funds are, you know, dying of dysentery on the Oregon Trail, you know?
I just feel bad.
I don't
for
know
the
why I
people
put
that
up that
invested
reference,
in
but
those.
what's that?
I just feel bad for the people that invest in the hedge funds, thinking it's a safe bet for their money, that it would be a good return.
Who are the people investing in the hedge funds?
The people that invest their money in long-term stocks.
No, those people invest in mutual funds. Hedge funds are for the elite. That's my understanding.
You think so?
Yeah, you and I aren't investing in hedge funds.
Not heavily.
I don't think we can. I don't think we have the capital. I think you have, like, the starting capital is going to be hundreds of thousands of dollars. You know,
That's a lot more than
I mean,
have.
I'm not a financial advisor, so I can't. I'm not saying that that's 100% true, but that's
And
the
none of the
that's
stuff we're
the
talking about
idea
is financial advice.
that I get. Yes, that's the idea that I get. That the hedge funds are not for you and I. You know, maybe some pension funds might be invested in hedge funds, but then they're these pension funds that are invested in the stock market. You know, I mean, a lot of them are, but they're being hollowed out too.
Well, just because the people that do invest it are wealthy doesn't mean they're bad people.
Well, that is also true.
And it doesn't mean that
Okay,
what these hedge
yes.
funds are doing represents them. What I'm saying is these hedge funds are representing these people, and the hedge funds are doing bad things.
That's true.
But it doesn't mean that who they represent or the money that they're using is not for good people. Because I know a lot of people who are very wealthy and are great people, wonderful people, and I
That's
wish
true.
them nothing but the best. I hope they become richer because they're the people that should
Yes.
become richer.
Money is not evil.
No.
Money is a tool. This is a biblical concept. Anybody who tells you that money is the root of all evil is lying to you. That's a lie straight out from the pit of hell. Okay?
Hello, JBN. Great to have you.
Dude, we totally missed you.
Yeah. I was actually starting to wonder whether or not you were going to show tonight. So
Yep.
thank you very much for showing.
Deep State hasn't said anything either, so
I know. It's kind of scary.
yeah.
I haven't had to
Sad.
yell at him yet.
But anyway, so yeah, money is just a tool.
Yes.
It's neutral morally.
Correct.
The biblical statement is the love of money is the root of all evil.
Mm-hmm.
The love of money.
The love of things is the root of all evil. Money is a thing. Guns are a thing. Cars are a thing. Houses are things. There can all be evil. They can all be good.
And it's like this is greed. This is greed, and then at the root of greed is pride.
It kind of goes back to also the tax thing of only taxing people that make 400,000 or more, because the people that make more than 400,000 are evil people.
Yeah. No. It's
Why?
the eat the rich.
And,
But there
and here's
are
the thing.
but the problem is that there are some evil rich people.
There are a few, like Nancy Pelosi. She's an evil rich.
Yeah,
I mean,
you know,
Senator Bernie Sanders.
well,
I would
well,
never
not
eat
even,
lunch with the
and
man.
not even just politicians, because they're the elite for sure.
Yeah, but they all make
But
more
they're-
than 400,000
Yeah,
a
yeah,
year.
definitely, they make millions somehow.
Clinton? Anyone?
But not just them. There's there's
I'm
Jeff
just making
Bezos.
sure the guy back there isn't going to kill me.
There's Tim Cook from Apple. There's whoever owns Alphabet.
Bezos?
Alphabet.
No. He doesn't
Yeah, I
know-
said Bezos.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I missed that.
That's okay. I'll forgive you. This
Roman
one.
Knightley.
Money is a living thing. Explain that. I'm interested.
In what ways is money a living thing? Yes, you
Like
can
what was?
grow.
I want to know what their theory was. So,
Please
Roman
explain
Knightley
that
is
a
saying
little
I
more.
had to explain that money is a tool to a friend of mine because they kept acting like money is a living thing, and that intrigues me.
No, people are living things that use tools like money to do things.
Mm-hmm.
And like any other
we've
tool,
explained what money is.
it can be used to build or destroy.
Mm-hmm. Money is power. There is power with money, for
Yeah.
sure. I mean, it's the power to get things done.
The power to
Um,
influence.
The power to obtain things and to get things done, to influence.
Yeah.
It's also but it's also like freedom, in many ways.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
It like money is I say crystallized because I don't have a better word, but money is crystallized time and labor. It's
It's the exchange for time and labor.
well, yeah, but like it's the stand-in, it's the representation, it's the money controlled who got it, like it was a sort of god. Well,
I think they've been watching too much American Gods.
well, but that's interesting because the Bible says, the Bible does talk about serving two masters in the context
gold.
of money versus God, or
Yeah.
wealth versus God. Like, and again, this isn't saying that having wealth is bad,
No.
but at what cost do you get it?
Yes.
Do you acquire it? Do you acquire it?
But
Through service and hard work? Excellent. Do you acquire it through shady means, and illegal and immoral means?
leaders
That's
of
bad.
BLM.
Yeah, exactly.
What?
But
Who said
when
that?
it says you cannot serve two masters, you cannot serve God and mammon.
Mhm.
And mammon is like a sort of little g god in relationship to money. So there is some
Then-
yes, that's a good question. Then,
Yeah.
to which I said, then does God bless people with money to be used in his service? Sure. Sure
Yeah,
he
why
does.
not?
Because oh man, this brings me to a final thought that I want to talk about, and it's in relation to other final thoughts that because I've been on this road, and it's just a fascinating road to me.
Well, we're doing pretty good. So right about now is a big good time
Okay,
for
well,
final thoughts.
so Uncle Ray, the Ebony Rampart, the Iron King. Yes, you remember him.
This guy,
Yeah, the guy who only shows up once a month now. Womp womp.
Yeah.
Anyway,
the strong one.
the strong one. Yeah, he's still out there on Instagram and Clapper doing his thing.
We still love you, Ray.
He just he just doesn't wanna hang out. He just doesn't want to hang out with us anymore. I don't know, hurts my feelings, but whatever. Anyway, he got me hooked on this podcast called Blurry Creatures. Highly recommend it. It starts out as a Bigfoot podcast, and you know that Ray is all about the Squatch.
He's all about the conspiracy theory.
Well, he's all about the conspiracy, but he loves the Squatch. He went to a Squatch convention because it just fascinates him, at the very least. Right?
Yes, it does, JBN. Since he's not here, he can't argue with me, so I get to say, Ray!
Okay, quiet down.
Oh, sorry.
Quiet down. You're talking about one of your kings. Anyway, so he got me hooked on this podcast. It's called Blurry Creatures, and it's fascinating. It starts out as a Bigfoot podcast, but very, 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 very quickly, it turns into a podcast about the giants of the Bible. In Genesis 6, they mention this group of the sons of God that come and they mate with human women, and they produce a group called the Nephilim that we know as the mighty men of old, and so on and so forth. And I thought, and I remember even as a teenager reading that passage and being like, that is the freaking coolest thing I have ever heard. Like, this is where I want more of this. More of this. But I thought that there wasn't that much more. There was David and Goliath.
Yeah.
Right?
I think that was one of the last ones.
Well, might not be, actually. I'll get to there.
Okay.
But
sorry, I was jumping.
but you got David and Goliath. And Goliath had 4 brothers. That's why he picked 5 stones out of the river.
Just in case.
Well, no, I think he went and actually killed them all.
I know he chopped the head off of Goliath.
Yeah, he
and held it over his head in the.
But I think they went then and killed the other 4. Anyway, but then there's also like mention of the Anakim or the Anakim. I don't know how you pronounce it. I always pronounced it Anakim. In fact, do you remember Frankie Peretti?
No.
He's a Christian author. He wrote
Frank Peretti or
Frank
Frankie?
Peretti. Frank E. Peretti.
Okay.
Frank
yes.
Peretti.
Yeah.
So you're familiar.
I am
with him.
familiar. I've heard of him before.
He wrote a series about he wrote a couple books. Like, he's kind of like a horror Christian writer.
Okay.
He delves into the spiritual realm a lot in his fiction, and with angels battling demons and things like that, and then the people caught in the middle, and
always
stuff
good
like
stories.
That. Yeah, it's interesting. He also wrote a children's series when I was young, and the book fair would come to my little private Christian school, and they'd have the new Frankie Peretti books,
Mm-hmm.
and I couldn't, I didn't buy them because my parents didn't have the money. But my friend Joey, his parents did have the money, and so he always bought them, and he would let me borrow them, and I would read them in one day, one school day.
Oh, wow.
I would finish the book. Okay, I never got to hand it back to him at the end of the day, though. I would literally finish it as I was walking out to my car. But his mom worked in the office at the school, so he would get picked up way before me.
Gotcha.
And so I was always trying to finish it so I could go, all right, there you go, I finished, and not hand it to him the next day. But I always had to hand it to him the next day because I was like on the last chapter, and he would be called, and then I'd be finishing the last pages as I walked out to my car, because that's just the size that they were, and that's how fast I read. Anyway, there was one. This is getting long, but one of them was called The Tombs of Anak, and it was about the Anakim, and Anak is the patriarch of this group, and they were giants, in the story, and the kids get involved and whatever, and it was like fascinating to me. So I've always been like, more of this. Blurry Creatures is more of this. There is a lot more. There's a lot more to this. It's that stew.
Still tasting it.
I'm a man. Okay? I'm a man.
Num 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 num.
There's there's so much more to it, and then there's these extra biblical texts which aren't canonized, and I'm not arguing that they should be canonized. I don't think we even need to argue that they should be canonized. I don't think we even need to. But one of them is called the Book of Enoch, and it's not a Gnostic tome. If you know any of this stuff, there's the Gnostic Gospels, but those were written hundreds of years after Christ, and they rewrite the gospel story into completely absurd ways, right? The Book of Enoch is not one of those things. It is an ancient text.
Yes.
It was found with the Dead Sea Scrolls.
Okay.
Okay. I think when the councils happened that canonized the Bible, there was no good copy of the Book of Enoch because the Dead Sea Scrolls hadn't been found.
Yeah.
So it might have made it in. I don't know. I don't care. What I do care about is that Jude and Peter, I believe, both quote the Book of Enoch.
Yes.
So it was good enough for God to allow it to be quoted in the Bible, in what was canonized. I'm sorry, that's good enough for me. And then there's other books. There's the Book of Giants. There's the Book of Jasher. There's the Book of Jubilees. And these are all ancient texts that the ancient Hebrews would have known of, right? And I think that they add more. They add some context to Genesis 6. And I don't think that they should be thrown away after having listened to all these people.
Yes.
And then there's just these things like the Bible talks about, it's not flesh and blood that we war with, but it's principalities and powers and
Correct.
All that stuff. Well, what's a principality? A principality is a region ruled by a prince.
Yeah.
So like some people are arguing that God allowed or put some angels in charge of the nations of the earth, right?
Okay.
And then he took charge of Israel, right? And then these angels obviously went their way and became, Baal and and Mammon and the gods.
Zeus.
The elder gods in the stories, and then their children, the Nephilim, the giants, were the new gods, or the demigods, like Hercules and so on and so forth. Is a municipality run by a Munich? Possibly. All right. So beware of Munichs and princes. But like these ideas, like Mammon might be an entity. I mean, well, it's obviously an entity. It's given a capital name in the Bible.
Correct.
But perhaps this is an entity given authority over the monetary systems of our world. And so when you serve only your own wealth and greed, you serve Mammon instead of God,
Yes.
Like, and just the context of this into hybridization programs, and this, I know this might sound crazy to you, but I mean, let's look at what we know and see in the newspaper. The transhumanist movement.
Okay.
Like, I mean, some of it is technology, but a lot of it is biotechnology.
Yes.
They want to alter our DNA. They want to find the genetic cause of aging and eliminate that. So we don't age anymore. We don't die of old age anymore.
Well, there's also, I've seen a lot of conspiracy theories on how to say this without coming off as a conspiracy nut, because I don't prescribe to this, but it is something I've heard of. How there's groups of people, mostly aristocrats, who are trying to get some disease to propagate so they can vaccinate people to sterilize them to lower the Earth's population.
Oh, well, there's that. I mean, that's like, that's out of the Georgia Guidestones.
Yeah.
The population needs to be decreased to like 500,000 people or something like that.
500,000 people. There's more people in New York than that. There's
Yeah.
more people in Orlando.
Yeah, I mean they want like mass genocide of the entire Earth.
We wouldn't have any society whatsoever. You couldn't even maintain a computer network with that many people.
You could if everybody had a computer.
Yeah, but who's going to maintain it? There wouldn't be enough people to do that.
Yeah, I mean, but this is well, they don't want us to have computers anyway. They want us to be an agrarian society, so to save the earth.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah.
Okay.
But either way, so there's that. But I mean, that there's people who want that are experimenting with splicing animal DNA into us. And things like that. I mean, there's traits like
antlers would
like
be
think
pretty cool.
think about like just look at that. There's that show Sweet Tooth.
Oh yeah.
And so here's a hybrid human. He's like a deer man or a deer boy, and it's like, look how cute and sweet he is. Isn't he so sweet? He's so cute. Yeah, Roman Knightley. Bill Gates has said we need to lower the population. Actual conspiracy, not a theory. Yeah, true. But
I'm also not arguing with the fact that I think the Earth is close to being overpopulated.
I don't
However-
believe that at all, actually.
I think there's outlets for our population.
I think that the Earth can sustain considerably more humans.
Oh, I agree with that completely. I
Okay.
think that we can populate more, but we need to be careful about how much.
I think it will even out.
Think so?
Yeah, I think that God has systems in place. I mean, and we see it. We see it with like wealthy nations. The wealthier a nation gets, the less they produce children.
Mhm.
It's crazy. The population growth isn't happening in America.
No.
I mean, our population is still growing. Thank God that's good.
But like England, it's actually got a net deficit.
Yeah, Italy.
Switzerland.
Italy was so ravaged by COVID because most of their population is elderly.
Yeah.
Like Italy's in a bad way. Japan, I think, is having a similar problem.
Mhm.
But like China isn't, because China's destitute. India's destitute. The average Chinese person is broker than
Anything.
whatever the euphemism is, or not euphemism. The
Take any poorest of our poor, and they're richer
Yeah,
than most of the
considerably richer.
population of the entire world.
That being said, capitalism has reduced poverty considerably in the last couple decades.
Oh, yeah.
Ridiculously.
Reduced all sorts of things, like, I don't know, famine.
Now, so we see just the underpinnings of the genetic hybridization of humanity,
Yes.
and the integration of technology into humanity.
Yes.
Okay.
We
So
are
then-
Borg.
then
Resistance is futile.
The Bible talks about how Adam was given dominion over the earth, right?
Okay.
And what if? So, like, what they're positing is that there are entities that want that dominion. So,
Okay.
like, they produced half-human children to usurp that dominion. A race of giants to usurp, and they were the leaders. They were the rulers.
Okay.
You have there's a king in the Old Testament named Og, whose bed is like 13 feet long.
Yes.
He's a giant, right? So what happens? So they produce these hybrids. They try to get us to hybridize ourselves now.
Mhm.
And what happens? The humans have dominion over the earth, right? What happens when you're not that much human anymore? You're not that human anymore. You don't have dominion anymore.
Yeah.
Hence the flood in Noah's time. Yes,
Yes.
exactly. And here's an interesting thing. So the Bible says that Noah was perfect in his generations. And so if you're not thinking along these terms of, genetics
Mixing.
the giants and all this stuff.
Yeah.
That you're thinking Noah was perfect, but Paul said that there's none righteous, no, not one. So what does this mean? Is this like, so, no, he was faithful to God, so God equated his faith with righteousness. We do this like rigmarole to
get
try
it
and
to
like
fit.
make it fit, you know. And there
Without-
is evidence for that in Hebrews, you know, the list of the patriarchs of the faith, you know. And like there was no Jesus to believe in at that time. They just knew of the promise of the Messiah.
Yes.
And their faith was counted as righteousness, right? But he said it was perfect, right? He was perfect in his generations. With all this new information, he's perfect in his generations because he wasn't a hybrid. He was his lineage went back to Adam,
Yes.
and he was a full human.
Wasn't he grandson of who's the oldest person alive?
Methuselah,
Methuselah.
possibly. I thought it was Jared, maybe, or Jasher. I'm not sure.
It's so
Either
hard
way.
to keep track of the Old
Yeah,
Testament
yeah.
of who's.
But I
He
mean,
got
think
to who.
about that now. He's a human, and his wife is a human,
His children are human.
full humans, and God destroys the world and keeps them alive because he
Yes.
was perfect in his generation. That just opens up so much to the Bible that it's like crazy. It's freaking crazy, and so danged interesting. And like, you know, and then we can go off the deep end, and I may have already to some of you, and you know, frankly,
I find it fascinating.
again, deal with it. But consider it. Consider these things. You know, why the push? Why the push?
Why to push to mix DNA?
To mix DNA, to
What do they
I mean,
call
why
that?
the push for this vaccine? That's an mRNA vaccine that's literally altering our DNA. Why the push for this? Why all the garbage about the unvaccinating being a threat to everybody? They're not. They're only a threat to themselves. The
Yeah.
vaccinated can still get it. The vaccinated can still transmit it, and
Yes.
that's always been the way. Nobody thought when they were getting the flu vaccine that they were never. Well, I can't get it now.
I'm immune to the
No.
virus.
You're just probably not going to get sick from it.
Or you're not going
or-
to get as sick.
Yes, that was always the addendum. We knew this, but now we've lost our minds because the corporate media.
Because they equated the vaccine to vaccines like smallpox, chickenpox, polio,
Which are different.
which are
So,
different.
Did you
They
see
are
that?
actually
Did you see that guy
viruses.
who was talking to his state board of health? I wanted to play the video, but I was busy setting up the new computer, so I didn't get to download the
We
video.
should probably play it next time.
Yeah, we will. And this dude is laying it down, and he mentions this.
So should we?
He mentions a flash drive that he gives out, but basically, this is a respiratory virus. We've never been able to do what we did with smallpox and these other things with respiratory viruses
Yeah.
for a couple reasons, because there's more easily transmitted.
Yep.
A. B. They have animal reservoirs, so basically they can go into hiding in animals,
Mhm.
in certain animals, and then come back out when the conditions are right for them to, to
Spread
propagate again, to spread. And he goes into so much more detail. It's a great video. And
You mean
he's
he
a doctor.
uses
and-
Science.
yeah, he uses
Science?
and he talks about a flash drive filled with articles, and it's like, I want that flash drive. Give me that flash drive. Can I get some of that flash drive?
Can you spread that around? I don't think
Yeah.
Google would like it, but I'd like to see that.
So anyway,
DuckDuckGo.
there are powers on this earth. There's one power on earth and in heaven that is greater than all other powers. He's King of Kings and Lord of Lords, and that's Jesus Christ.
Amen.
But there are other powers that are allowed to rule right now.
Yes.
And the day is coming when he comes and he vanquishes them. But for now, they have some authority because we've abdicated our authority.
Yes.
Though we rightfully have dominion as sons of Adam. And so, like, just consider that. Let that really, really go listen to Blurry Creatures. It's a really good podcast, man. And it is freaking fascinating. I can't speak highly enough about it. If this has any interest for you, you're gonna love it. And that's my really long final thought.
That is a really long final thought, but man, is that entertaining.
Well,
I
I'm
like
glad
that.
you enjoyed it.
Yeah, that was fun. Final thoughts for me. I'm really worried about where we're going as a country as far as financially.
Oh yeah.
3.5 trillion.
And this
It's-
is like, this isn't just the first 3.5 trillion. It's been trillions and trillions and trillions for years and years and years now.
Yeah. And I get it. But
Remember when the 800 billion that Bush signed in was like crazy?
insane amount of money. That was just my mind was blown by that much spending giving to banks.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Yet now we're talking about trillions, and it's just a daily thing.
Like it's nothing. Yeah.
Like, here's a practice for you. I want you to get a pen and paper and write down $1 trillion. Just $1 trillion. One with trillion zeros.
So that would be 3, 6, 9, 12, like 15 zeros.
More. One more.
18?
That's billion is
Hundreds,
15.
thousands, hundreds, thousands, millions,
Millions,
billions,
billions,
trillions. So that would be
Oh, it is
15.
15.
Yeah, 15,000.
Okay.
15 zeros.
Cool. So yeah, 15 zeros. Just look at
Well,
that
actually,
number.
it would be 12 zeros, and then the 1 would be the first
Okay.
in the trillions. The
Just look at it. It's a huge number. We're dealing with that in our fiscal matters, which, if we're doing it on the plus side, great. That's awesome. We're not dealing it on the plus side. We're dealing it on the negative side. We are spending trillions of dollars, and a lot of it we don't have.
our country doesn't make anything.
We
I
don't
mean, we make
export
some-
anymore.
Yeah, not
we
much.
were on the verge of exporting for the first time
In decades.
2 years ago.
In decades.
We were exporting oil for the first time.
And they threw a virus
They
at us to
shut
shut
that
us down.
Just the moment he walked into office, he shut that down.
Well, he shut that down, but they shut it down before that with the whole COVID thing.
Yeah. Well, I remember seeing an interview with Nancy Pelosi before COVID, even before it hit the news in China that there was this virus coming through, that they needed something in order to stop Donald Trump in his tracks. She didn't care what it was. She didn't care where it came from. There has to be something to stop him.
Night, Roman.
And then, boom, what happened? Not even a month later, COVID started happening in China.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but dang, does it look suspicious. This interview, then that, it stopped our economy in its tracks from coming back to what could have been an absolute.
And to add to that, the people in charge, our governors,
Mm-hmm.
you know, the leftist governors, the politicians, they're fear-mongering and locking down their states
Yet
and
again.
ordering masks, but even the first time,
Yeah.
even the first time when it was new, you know, they're locking down their states, but they themselves are going to restaurants and not wearing masks. They have no fear of this thing.
No.
They're just telling you that you should be afraid. And this tells me
That I have nothing to fear.
that this is just adds to that this was all planned for political ends.
Yeah. That
If the people in charge who are telling us that we should be afraid aren't afraid of this thing,
Mhm.
and it works so conveniently for their goals,
political ends. It just lined up too perfectly for this not to be what I think it is.
Mhm.
That now we have a literal puppet who looks like Walter from Jeff Dunham's little troupe of puppets, and he is literally a puppet.
Yeah.
Much more than Walter ever was. Or is. It just, there's so many scary things that just line up just so eerily that I'm like, how can this not be real? How can this, why is there not more people talking about this going, this shouldn't be adding up?
Mm-hmm.
And it scares me.
Yeah.
It terrifies me. I've got 2 little kids. Matt has 2 little kids. I fear for their future because of what I see happening, where there will be no Constitution. The Constitution will just be a historical document written by racists.
Yeah.
Which, that absolutely terrifies me. It terrifies me to the point of, I have to do something, and this is what I'm doing. This right here. I am talking about it. I am bringing it out. I'm putting it out there in the ethos and hoping that somebody hears this, feels the same way I do, and wants they want to do something about it. That something is, we need to talk about it. We need to bring this out and bring it to the light and show other people, hey, this ain't right. $1.2 trillion in spending that we can't afford, 3.5 in a budget that shouldn't be nearly that big. Why? In the article I read, it lists off several things that make a lot of sense, and some of them didn't. 1, defense spending, $800 billion. Really hasn't gone up that much in the last decade. It's been about 700 to 800 billion for the last 10 years.
And frankly, there's probably some fat that can be cut from that too.
Oh, probably, but that's been about right.
Without jeopardizing the lives of our soldiers, like with faulty, crappy equipment.
Yes, please don't. I like our soldiers. Our soldiers are awesome.
Like, I think it's gross that when we're willing to spend so much money, but then we won't buy,
flak jackets.
Yeah, we won't buy a flak jacket for the army.
Yeah.
Give me a break.
Give them some bulletproof vests, please. I know they're not bulletproof, but give them some vests to help protect them. Help invest in new armories that make sense for the soldier, that doesn't weigh 50 pounds to carry around. Anyways, I'm getting off
this
topic.
Is all.
My thing is this. We have too much fat, and it's all at the top. It's all at the top of this pyramid called politics. I don't care if you're right. I don't care if you're left. There's too much fat, and there's no accountability. We have to call these people out. We have to call a spade a spade. They want to change the language so it's unjust to call something what it really is. Call it what it is. Call it what it should be, not what they want it to be. That's my final thought.
Right on. You said you hoped people would hear us and want to take action. And I hope that they would hear us and want to listen again and maybe support us.
And that's what I mean by taking action. You can support us, and in doing so, you help spread the word about us.
Yes. So you can support us. You can subscribe on Twitch. You can, or if you want all of your money to go to us, there's also a link down in the description to where you can donate, and all of your, I can't say all. I'm going to say most of your money rather than half of it going to Jeff Bezos. That way. The other side of it is, and what really, 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 really and truly helps us is to get more eyes on us.
Yep. Share
we
this.
We need more people. We need more people in this audience.
Talk about this.
Love this audience. You guys are awesome.
JBN,
Roman,
Nightly,
Deep State,
Deep Space.
Bobby the Bull.
Michelle.
before he got work again. Yeah, so many people are here every week, and it's awesome.
And we love you guys.
Yes.
We love
we-
interacting with you.
For sure.
You
We
guys
just-
are great.
We just want, I mean, for this to be a viable thing that makes sense to keep doing, after so much investment,
Yeah.
we need more. We need a larger audience. We've invested quite a bit.
I've paid a lot of taxes.
And
Seriously.
I've bought a lot of equipment, and just more people would
More eyes.
on this product, more ears listening to this product will mean more. It just means more return on our investment.
Mm-hmm.
And then with that return, we can invest more into this thing and make it into what I dream of it being.
Yowie, wowie!
See, I paid
a
my
multi.
taxes.
Yes, you did. A multi-show, multi-show per week thing. I want to do this. I mean, ultimately, I want to do this full time. Yeah.
I would love to be able to talk to you guys full time, interact with you.
8 hours a day. 7 days a week.
Wait, what?
Just kidding. But
Full time job, yes. 7 days a week.
no,
I'll leave that up to Matt.
Yeah.
He's up for that. He can
I'm
take
really-
that.
I'm really not.
He's the young one of our group.
what year were you born?
1980, like it says.
Okay, that's right. All right, so I guess I am. No, actually, Ray is the youngest one of our group.
Is he?
Oh yeah, by like he's still in his 30s.
Ah, little baby Ray.
Yeah. Anyway, so just thank you for spreading the word. Telling your friends.
And guys, thank you
Just
for
so-
coming out
yeah,
tonight.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're here, so you obviously are invested in this.
Yes.
So just take that extra step, and when you meet somebody who you're like, bro, we believe the same things. Did we just become best friends? And they're like, yeah, we did. And you're like,
Yeah.
well, then I got a show for you. It's called Plausible Foolishness. I think you'll love it.
Yeah, and where can they find that?
On Twitch. Well, you can find it right here on Plausible Foolishness, home
There
of the
you
Rube Empire, where the people are free, the taxes are voluntary, and we serve freshly roasted liberal logic every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. right here on twitch.tv/Plausible Foolishness, YouTube, Facebook Live, Instagram, Rumble, Minds, and anywhere you can get a podcast. Peace out.
Sorry, everybody.
Said don't attack me cause I ain't no Democrat. Said don't attack me cause I ain't Republican. Yeah, I'm still black. Yeah, I'm still black. Said don't attack me cause of all my politics. You ain't gotta deal with all this shit that I deal with. Yeah, I'm still black. Yeah, I'm still black.
Yeah. I find it kinda sinning when you tell me how they think it, they reduce it to my melanin. Like I didn't pay the cost, so my brother took a loss for your chance of the donkey or the elephant, but neither one is relevant. This is for the blacks or the whites that are coming out arrogant. Calling me a traitor for not following, I heard that's absurd, and I heard that it's even more prevalent when you don't understand what I've been through. And blood don't tell me who I'm kin to. That's determined in by the friends who share the same values as me. Don't pretend to. Act like you know everything that I need. Conservative in the way I believe, regardless of whatever you may perceive. I'm black and nobody can take that from me.
Don't attack me cause I ain't no Democrat. Said don't attack me cause I ain't Republican. Yeah, I'm still black. Yeah, I'm still black. Said don't attack me cause of all my politics. You ain't gotta deal with all this shit that I deal with. Yeah, I'm still black. Yeah, I'm still black. I'm still black.
This is my right as a citizen. My freedom cannot be limited.
I do what I want, okay?
Think otherwise, then you ignorant.
Leave me alone, because
And feed your body, and I'm different.
Don't attack me cause I ain't no Democrat. Said don't attack me cause I ain't Republican. Yeah, I'm still black. Yeah, I'm still black. Said don't attack me cause of all my politics. You ain't gotta deal with all this shit that I deal with. Yeah, I'm still black. Yeah, I'm still black. I'm still
They gon' hate me for this one. Hashtag facts are racist. R.I.P. mom, you the greatest. Raised up a king and they hate it. Everyone mind about races when they're not the biggest problem we facing. Take a real look at the nation. Single motherhood inflation.